Call me 24.
What's going on, you guys? So, Devin the Dream Haney had a recent interview, and he debunks the whole notion that there's a side of the street. He said there is only one street, and that if a fighter truly wants to fight, they'll make it happen. Hit that like button for your boy. Give me that HBO special. That's the Help a Brother Out special. We're on the road to 11,000 subscribers. Devin Haney had an interview. Got the article link in the description. Debunking that whole notion that there's a side of the street. And this is something that your boy should have been talking about for some years now. There's no such thing. It was just a clever way for your favorite fighter, or a clever way for fighters in the modern era of boxing to duck a fight. Really clever. There's a lot of different clever duck tactics that fighters use over the years, and that was one of them. Side of the street. Oh, wow. All of a sudden, there's an imaginary line in the sport of boxing. Oh, yeah, Errol Spence Jr. got a lot of heat from your boy from that shit. But yeah, this is what Devin Haney had to say, right? And it was a catchphrase that was made popular by Errol Spence. I mean, it went viral basically, right? It became a cult catchphrase. Like, it was just, everybody was saying, oh, he on the wrong side of the street. You know what I'm saying? It sounded cool. So that's what everybody started to say when the guy was working with a different promotional company, for the guys who don't understand the lingo. When they say on the other side of the street, that means he's under a different promotional company. So that's for the guys that don't know. But this is what Devin Haney had to say in quote. He says this: I want to inspire guys, all that other side of the street stuff. If you really, truly want these big fights, they can be made. And then he says this: people say, oh, it can't be made because he's on the, you signed with that promoter. No, he says, wait, let me start over. And then he says this: people say, oh, it can't be made because you're signed with that promoter, or you're this, or you're that. But if you truly want it, you would do the Devin Haney. And that's what Devin Haney's doing. And he said, he started something new. He's doing whatever he's got to do to make the fight happen. End quote. That's what Devin Haney had to say. He was talking about himself in third person in the end there. It got a little confusing. But if you understand that he's talking about himself, then you get it, right? These fighters, once they get to a certain, they tend to talk about themselves in third person. And it's funny. Like, the really good ones, the really, really good fighters tend to talk about themselves in third person. It's hilarious. But Devin Haney said, is this a direct shot at Errol Spence Jr.? Right? Because he was the one doing this and doing that. He was the one doing these things that he described here. Right? He was doing this stuff. Said, oh, he was this, and all his pay-per-view numbers, and the splits, and this and that, and he was saying all kinds of shit to downplay the fight. Of course, now he can't say such things. It's totally different now. But at that particular time, that's what he was saying. And Devin Haney, guys like Shakur Stevenson, they doing it a different way, because it did nothing but put a hold on the division, put a hold on boxing, and it did nothing but frustrate fans. That's all it did. And it did nothing for boxing, right? And now we in a situation to where we got to see if Errol Spence go come back and be able to defeat Dennis Ugas and all this other shit now, right? But if you truly wanted to fight, you would have made it happen. This is something that your boy Bushido been saying for a long time. You guys already know your boy Bushido all with the smoke with these fights, man. It's time to fight. It's time to fight. I mean, I said it so much, I stopped saying it. I've been saying it so much, I stopped saying it. But then when it takes guys like Devin Haney, right? Fighters like Devin Haney to come out and say it. But when guys like Timothy Bradley said, oh, he's going to receive some backlash. Guys like your boy Bushido said, oh, he may receive some backlash. Why? Because it's taboo. You ain't supposed to want the best fights in boxing. Nah, we getting rid of that in 2022. We ain't rolling like that no more. That's not how this goes. That's not how this ever was supposed to go. But Errol Spence Jr. created that because, let's be honest, he wasn't ready for Terrence Crawford. That's all that was. He just wasn't ready for Terrence Crawford. So in order to smother the flames that would have been on his ass if he had just came out and said some other shit like Keith Thurman been doing, he said, oh, well, he on the wrong side of the street, or Bob Arum this, Bob Arum that. And Bob Arum was the perfect scapegoat. He was a perfect excuse. So now that Terrence Crawford is a free agent, there's no such thing. You haven't heard anything about no numbers or splits or anything since the Tim Smith interview, right? Everything seemed like it's on the right track as of now. But let this be a lesson in the future. There's no such thing as sides of the street in the sport of boxing. Period. We just seen a fight with Jamal Charlo and Jaime Munguia almost got made, but a few business issues halted that. But at the end of the day, bro, like I said before, like I've been saying for years, if these guys, especially guys like Spence, who has juice in the sport, right? Guys like Errol Spence have juice in the sport of boxing, they can make things happen. How do you go tell Errol Spence no? Right? Guys like Crawford can only fight who's willing to fight. But guys like Errol Spence, who got the juice, right? Got the belts, got the leverage, he can make shit happen. So how they go tell him no? How that look Al Heyman telling Errol Spence no? Right? When he's the man. It don't make sense. It was just a stall tactic, but hey, we looking past that. But it's funny now that Devin Haney come out and said, nobody's gonna say nothing. Right? Either they go agree with it or they not gonna say nothing at all, act like they never was part of that foolishness. The guys like your boy Bushido been combating for the better part of 3.5 years, drawing imaginary lines in boxing just to avoid a fight, to stall a fight out. It wasn't a good excuse at all, but hey, it is what it is. Things played out the way it's supposed to play out. But that was something that Errol Spence Jr. made up in order to prevent a fight that he really didn't want. And that's just what it is. I mean, take it how you want to take it. It's a red pill. Eat it. Swallow it. He really didn't want the fight. I mean, you got to build up. Let's be honest. You got to have a lot of confidence to go up in there and compete with a guy like Crawford. Crawford has been consistent as a fighter that we've seen, right? Look how long Bud been around. I mean, they looking at this dude like, damn, this dude 34, 5. He's still on here. He's still knocking dudes out. I've been sitting around for 3 years. Yeah, the fans can talk their shit, but shit, could I really beat this guy right now? Let me go ahead and get a few fights first. Let me get a few training camps in and see what I can do. And that's respectable, right? You gotta respect that. Like, if a dude ain't confident, like, I mean, I could beat him, but I don't know if I'm at my best right now, right? At the end of the day, these guys are human, people. But Errol Spence created that nonsense, and I'm glad guys like Devin Haney come out and say, you know what, we not gonna ride like that over here. We gonna do it our way. We gonna do it the Haney way, and we gonna go straight for the best. If I truly want it, I'm gonna go get it. Like, subscribe, holler at your boy. Peace out.